Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. So today, I tried a lot of makeup in June, and somehow this month just went by really quickly. I don't know what it was, but it's that time of month again. Not my period, but new makeup releases, favorites, and fails for June. If you're new to the series, that's basically where I just go through all the new products I tried out during the month and review them. And new releases, new makeup products that have just hit the market, and I have a bunch of things to share with you guys. The good, the bad, and the extremely uglies. Hello there. Let's just throw an F in the chat for all my makeup looks circa sophomore year. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Full details of this makeup look should be on Instagram already. And for once, I'm actually filming this while it's still June. The 26th of June. It is Wednesday, my dudes. I think I've rambled more than enough. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and let's get right into it. I'm gonna start off with probably the most ridiculously infuriating product I've tried the entire month. The Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. I hate it so much. I really love the product. The packaging on this, however, makes me want to literally throw this off a cliff and then myself along with it. If you don't know me, basically bad packaging is one of my pet peeves, and this, the second that you open it for the first time, it just starts fountaining out eye primer and it doesn't stop. Just as an example, I have a little empty thing prepared so I can catch all the product that's going to come out, but I'm going to show it to you on screen. God. So as you can see, it just starts coming out.
That's what she said!
And I'm just gonna let it go until it decides to exhaust itself.
That's what she said.
Alright, so I just let it go for a while until it kind of slowed down with the free flowing of it, and this is how much eye primer I've collected. So I will be actually using it straight out of here because there's nothing more that I despise than product waste. But like, who came up with this packaging? Because the actual eye base is delightful. It's a really good quality matte base. It dries down pretty quickly, but I feel like it really does grip down your products. It doesn't crease throughout the day. It's a really solid eye base, better in my opinion than the P. Louise, which is why I really like it. And I've seen some people kind of excusing the whole packaging problem by saying there's half an ounce in here. Yes, there is, but again, it's a high-end product. It really shouldn't be doing this, and this is by far the most odious packaging for a product I've ever tried in my life. The Makeup Revolution Luxury Baking Powder in the shade Lace. For a while, this was like the worst packaging I've ever experienced, with a really good quality product inside. Like, this is really great powder, but it's basically loose powder with no sifter.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
This primer is like every boyfriend ever. Love him so much, but oh god. I think if they can fix the packaging and straighten that out, which I believe Norvina is on the mission of doing that at the moment, I think, yeah, this is an awesome product and I 100% put my stamp of approval on this, but right now, it's just such a big flaw in the actual conceptualization and the packaging itself that I don't understand how this really got through quality control. It's obviously not as big a thing as like the Jaclyn Hill lipsticks, but still, I don't know how this kind of got through testing. Kind of my final thoughts on this, I'm conflicted. I think it's great. It just really annoys the shit out of me, so every man ever. Probably one of my favorite releases I tried this month were these 3 palettes that I tried from Kaleidos Makeup. And I just saw Raw Beauty Kristi release a Get Ready With Me using one of these palettes, and I was just like, yes! I love that these are getting more exposure because I feel like indie brands in particular really get confined to just people who talk about indie makeup, and I would love to see them breaking out into more like mainstream or bigger beauty YouTuber spaces. I used the Futurism 3 Astro Pink palette in my last Get Ready With Me. Basically, these are little mini palettes with individual color schemes. This one happens to be the more like cool tone palette, so I did create a look with this one. Today I used the Futurism 1 Sci-Fi Green. Surprise! I'm not wearing the Melt Gemini palette.
Wow!
And then the one that Kristi used in her video was the Futurism 2 Cyber Bronze, which is just pretty much all like neutrals and pukey browns, which... Before I even talk about the formula of these, I just want to take a minute to appreciate the whole like packaging and aesthetic of these. I just love everything right down to the details. It feels very like Pat McGrathy, if that makes sense, but these are $24 each, so not quite as bad as in terms of price. But between like the print on the outside, the foil, just the feeling of the palettes, they're nice and heavy, they feel very weighted. And overall, it's just like such a nice, luxurious experience just unboxing these, holding them in your hands. The whole user experience is very nice. So from the 3 palettes they sent me, I can tell that they have about 4 different distinct formulas. So in here there are 4 mattes and 2 metallics, and then I tried out the other formulas in their number 3 palette, which has like a kind of micro glitter infused matte, which normally I hate, but this one's a black and it's very dreamy, so I go through with it. And then they also have a few like duochrome shimmers as well. I haven't been this blown away with an eyeshadow formula in a very long time. I think this is one of my new favorites. And as much as it seems like I might say that a lot, I don't. I'm getting really picky with my eyeshadows. I've just started to notice me getting more and more like It's not perfect. In terms of the mattes, I feel like they selected a lot of really usually very difficult colors to formulate. So like the olive greens and the matte black, nice mustardy yellow right here. I feel like those are normally very difficult colors to get right. I think they did a really good job of striking a balance between very pigmented shadows, very like soft and blendy shadows, and then stuff that doesn't fade throughout the day as well. Overall, the experience of like working with the matte shadows was nice. It was easy to work with, they're easy to blend, and they just go onto the eyes and show up really well. And with the metallics, these are very soft, very like creamy, dimethicone filled, and they definitely have this like nice eye-popping effect. In the last Get Ready With Me I used this shade all over my lids. It's this beautiful like kind of pinky silvery toned duochrome shade. And I've definitely used like light metallics like this even on camera, but I felt like this one really like brought this brightness to my eyes and picked up the light in a way that was very unique. I think this is a great metallic formula. It's not too like chunky and glittery, but it definitely shows up very like dimensional and bright on the eyes. Even the one shade that I really thought I was going to despise, which is this matte black that has micro silver glitter through it, I feel like it just brings a lot of like nice dimension to the black and just makes everything blend easier. It just looks really nice on the eyes. And yes, I was thoroughly impressed by these little thoughts right here. So I feel like especially in the eyeshadow world, it's so hard for me to get excited about new releases just because everything is starting to blend together and look the same. Really, the last time I got excited about a new eyeshadow palette release was the ColourPop Yellow palettes, and these really make me excited and super happy when I reach for them. So I will definitely continue to use these and make different looks with these on Instagram, but I think these are some of the best palettes ever. And if you really do enjoy mini palettes, I think you will definitely love these. Earlier this month, I did probably the stupidest, funniest video I've ever made on my channel, which was my full face of makeup using chopsticks. I still can't believe that happened, but it did. And honestly, the one piece of valuable information that we gleaned from that video was the Milani Silky Matte Bronzers are very good and very easy to blend. Somehow I managed to blend this bronzer using chopsticks. When I'm not using chopsticks, this looks even better on the face. And I haven't tried a ton of things I've really loved from Milani. A lot of their things are just kind of like middle of the road meh for me, but this is definitely my favorite thing from their entire line. I've seen Kathleen Lights raving about these bronzers, but they're just a very like silky to the touch, smooth feeling bronzer. They are matte. They're nice and easy to blend. I feel like they don't get muddy on the face. I really like this tone as well. I feel like these are a little bit more on the neutral tone side, so they can be a bit like cooler if you want to do like kind of a bronzing contour action in one. It's just a really good formula that I feel like is high-end caliber. Normally when I try things from the drugstore, I'm like, this is nice, but I wouldn't necessarily pay $25 or $30 for it. This is very nice and luxurious. Even though it is in plastic packaging, it still feels like a high-end product. Do be warned, it does have a kind of slight scent. They say it's supposed to be tropical coconut scented.
No.
To me, it smells more like a spiced anise cookie, but it definitely does not smell like coconut to me. It's a very slight smell. Nothing like the butter bronzer, so if that one was like way too overwhelming for you, which for me sometimes it is, I think this will totally be fine for you. But so, confession, sometimes at night, I pray to the dewy gods in hopes of a nice, luminous, dewy foundation that will not slip off my face and will be a nice, affordable option for everybody. It goes a little something like this. Oh, dewy gods, hear my prayers.
Butt shit.
Hey, could you guys, by any chance, put in a word with the other dewy gods to make a nice, like, luminous, kind of dewy foundation that's not Flower Beauty Light Illusion? Because I want a good drugstore one, but Flower Beauty Light Illusion is way too aggressive sometimes, and I just want something kind of, like, middle of the road, you know?
Do you want it? Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for hearing my humble mortal prayers. Hail Samantha.
You bitch.
That was my first ever Nisa Piece of Style skit. Hope you guys enjoyed. I heard a ton of hype about the Pacifica A Light Clean Foundation. Pacifica is a brand that I've really seen change quite a lot over the past couple of years. I discovered Pacifica right when I was getting into using makeup, and I was looking for basically just anything that satisfied my crunchy granola hippie type vegan things. Ostensibly not good, but I kind of just thought those were the best thing ever. And a lot of their like earlier makeup products were just not very good. So I am very excited to see them kind of revamping the brand and coming out with like new and improved certain things, because I think they're a really great brand. This is a very like clean foundation. It's cruelty-free, vegan, silicone-free, formaldehyde-free, phthalate-free, mineral oil-free, paraben-free, petroleum-free, gluten-free, soy-free, paleo. Yeah, you know. I bought the shade Neutral Light and I'm using it today. I have this foundation on no powder, so it's very nice and dewy, but if you want to kind of set it down with a nice dusting of powder, I feel like it takes very well to that, and it doesn't like look completely matte and flat across the face, it still retains a little bit of that dewiness, but it doesn't look aggressive like this. I actually was very impressed with this one. I feel like it's very similar in finish to the Tarte Babassu Found Sealer. This I wouldn't necessarily define as like dewy. I think Flower Beauty Light Illusion is dewy. It just looks wet on the skin. This one I think is better described as luminous, a live sheen, but it doesn't look too like almost greasy, if that makes sense. I think it's a really solid formulation. It's about $15 or $16 depending on where you get it. So in terms of like drugstore foundations, it's not the most affordable, but it's definitely a lot more inexpensive than every other high-end foundation out there. So throughout the entire month of June, California's been super temperamental. It's been like really cold on certain days and then very hot some other days. So I think during July, it's probably going to be just like more consistently hot and dry. And I will update you guys on how I feel about this foundation in about a month when it's been consistently sunny every day. But at the moment, I'm very much enjoying this. Hello, please excuse the fact that I look disgusting, but while editing this, I realized I forgot to review one of the things, so I'm just gonna hop on here and do that really quickly. ColourPop and Kathleen Lights did their 5 millionth collaboration, and they released a bunch of blushes. One in particular caught my eye because it was orange. I picked it up. It's one of the ColourPop's pressed powder blushes in the shade So Retrograde, and it's bright orange. I was so attracted to that, so I decided to pick this one up. It came and I noticed that it had shimmer running through it. Now, my thoughts on dewy blushes are not the same necessarily as dewy bronzers. I don't absolutely hate dewy blushes with every fiber of my being, but they're not really my preference. I do prefer like a fully matte blush. Still though, I did give this one a shot. I tried it a couple times, and I really am not a huge fan of this. It's pretty much the same formula as the ColourPop pressed powder bronzers. I have my favorite bronzer from them in the shade Private Party, and basically I feel like ColourPop's pressed powder anythings are very pigmented. The bronzer is okay because that one's matte and I feel like I can blend that one a little bit easier, whereas dewy or just like pure shimmery blushes tend to be harder to blend out, and this I just felt like it was a shock of way too much orange color that was as a result very, very hard to blend out. So did not like this blush. 0 out of 10, would not recommend. Sorry, Kathleen. So it's summer.
I got my hat on backwards and it's time to fucking party.
And brands are like, I'm just gonna release all the watermelon things. I think I've seen like 3 or 4 different brands doing watermelon themed releases. So the first would be, and I tried 2 different watermelon themed releases. I figured I'd knock them all out. 3 birds with 1 stone. So first, Ciate came out with the Watermelon Burst collection. I tried these out in the last video, the Get Ready With Me, so if you want to see them in action, you can, although it's pretty much just me rubbing clear primer onto my face and then applying a lip oil. Definitely my favorite of the 2 things is the Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer. This I got Connie onto. This is a very like watery primer. It has little flecks of like black watermelon leaf throughout there. It's just a really nice cooling hydrating primer. I don't think it necessarily prolongs the wear of my makeup, but that's not really what I use it for. I kind of just use it if I need an extra boost of hydration, if I'm using a more like matte foundation. It does have a fragrance in it, and I'm not a huge fan of fragrance in complexion products all that often, but it's pretty nice and light. It doesn't feel like perfumey or gross by any means. The lip oil is nice, but it's probably not something I would repurchase just because I feel like it fades really quickly off the lips. So some other lip oils, I feel like they're kind of like lighter duty glosses, whereas this one absorbs really quickly in, so your lips feel nice and like plumped and nourished, but they don't necessarily look nice and glossy. And that's kind of what lip oils are for. So if you want something that's gonna kind of function more as a lip balm, you might like this. But if you want something that's gonna be more of like a lightweight gloss, probably skip this. ColourPop came out with the watermelon collection, so they have the like red watermelon palette that I did not buy. And they also came out with the watermelon face milk from Fourth Ray Beauty. I really like a lot of the things I've tried from Fourth Ray Beauty. This was really not one of them. Mostly just because I felt like it didn't do anything to my skin. But I don't know, I just didn't really notice any nice results besides putting something on my face that smells lightly of watermelon. It is a very beautiful, like aesthetically pleasing product. It doesn't really do that much to my face, which was disappointing because it's like $10 or $12, which is a little bit pricier in terms of ColourPop's prices. I see ColourPop like slowly hiking up there with the prices. No, this is cute, but doesn't really do anything, so. A brand I've really enjoyed quite a few products from, but I haven't necessarily like dived into them quite yet, is Jouer. So I'm making an effort to try more things from their brand because I really do like the quality of stuff they come out with. I just feel like they don't really release a ton very often, which I appreciate because we can't all be ColourPop. But also it just means I'm not checking for them quite consistently. But I heard really good things about both of their cheek duos, so I decided to test out the bronzers and the blushes. I'll start with the bronzers. I used these ones on camera in the Get Ready With Me that I did. I ordered these from Sephora, so I paid full price. And I feel like a lot of the reviews I've seen for these bronzer duos have been like PR. When I first opened this one, I was like, oh, I'm gonna hate it. They're dewy. No. Dewy bronzers, as far as I'm concerned, are directly from the pits of hell. And these I was expecting to be like nice, fully like bouncy, kind of silky matte bronzers like the one from Milani, but these have a tiny bit of like very light gold flecks running through them, but they don't look dewy on the face. Basically, I think the tiny sheen in there is just to help them blend a little bit better on the skin, and these definitely blend very easily. They're one of the least patchy bronzers I've ever worked with, and I love having kind of a selection of 2 different shades in here. But yeah, because of that tiny amount of sheen in there, they look very nice and dimensional on the face. They don't look flat, they don't look muddy, they just look nice and kind of healthy and alive and beautiful. So I really like the bronzer duo. The blushes are very interesting to me because they're not the same formula as the bronzers. I feel like these are definitely like a nice kind of silky, like almost creamy bouncy powder texture, whereas these are definitely more matte and not quite as easy to blend out. I got the shade Flirt, and there's a very, very pale pink shade in here and a very nice kind of like bubblegum pink. And I don't know why I was surprised about this, but this shade literally does not show up on me. I was expecting it to be kind of like a nice kiss of like very subtle pink in there, but it just kind of, it's not really there. It just blends into my skin. I feel like it's very hard to mess up blush. Like, it's probably one of the easier products to formulate. So yeah, this is good, but it's not anything super special. I would say if you're going to spend money on a Jouer duo, definitely go for the bronzers. The blushes are nice, and I think they have a lot of different like cute color duos, but the bronzers really impressed me. The blushes were just kind of like, okay.
Okay.
Don't sue me, this is not a new release, but it's new to me and this is my channel, so yeah. I finally got around to trying out the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. I kept going back and forth about this one. I really wanted to try it out when it first dropped, but also Cover FX, I forget how expensive they are. Like, probably because, again, they're like Jouer, they don't really release a ton, but whenever they do, it's really good, solid products. I just forget that they are one of the more, like, expensive high-end brands at Sephora. It's a very unique applicator. It's basically just a small ball. It's definitely different from your typical doe foot applicator, but I love that there's not like a little dent in the middle. I really like this concealer. It's definitely very full coverage, but I feel like, again, it's a little bit like less thick than Shape Tape. It's a lot easier to blend out. It doesn't dry down quite as quickly, so you have more time to work with it. And it's not a completely matte dry down, so it doesn't crease or it doesn't move around throughout the day, but it also doesn't make your eyes look like dry and crepey and disgusting. Not as good as my favorite Too Faced Born This Way sculpting concealer, but I would say it's a close second. I really like this one, and it definitely makes me want to try out the Power Play foundation. Don't know if I would love it just because I am a dewy hoe, but this is very nice, and I definitely am very glad that I tried this out, even though it's butt shit expensive. I had to do it to him. In my defense, I did not buy this at full price. I actually found a completely unopened one on Poshmark, so I bought that one in a fit of stress. I was not going to do it, but I was like, you know what? I said I was going to buy it if I found it at a nice, good, reasonable price that is not $60. So I bought the moisturizer that's been taunting me in my dreams. I know I just anti-hauled it, but I'm
Not sorry.
This is the Marc Jacobs Youth Quick, and I keep saying Youth Quick instead of Youth Quick because Tyler, the creator. It's called the Hydrofull Retexturizing Gel Cream. It's very pale yellow, and I've been trying this out for about like almost a full week now, so obviously I don't have a completely full review for you guys, but I just wanted to say I don't think it's worth $60. So that's kind of the mini review I wanted to bring to you guys today. Obviously I will share more developed thoughts along the road. This is not something I normally do in a new makeup releases, favorites, and fails video, but I do want to just say, if you've been contemplating this one, don't buy it full price. Just wait for like the VIB sale. You have many moisturizers in your collection. So far, I've noticed this one really doing nice things for my texture on my forehead. I think it's definitely something you have to use for a longer time to get prolonged results, but I've been really enjoying this one. And with most like kind of retexturizing things, I feel like they really do irritate my skin, but because this one is a nice like moisturizing cream, it's a very deep hydration thing. I think it's been having that effect while not completely damaging and stripping my skin. I'm enjoying it, but god damn, don't spend $60. Respect yourself. So lately, as I've fallen into a pit of love with like basic brown eyeshadow, I've really been enjoying the Kaja Beauty Bento eyeshadow trios. Not just because they're called bentos and that's something I grew up with, but I think they're just like nice and accessible. They're just very easy to use, so I was very excited to see them come out mattes because the original trios are all shimmers and they're really nice, like very glittery packed shimmer shades. But the new matte trios, they have one beautiful shimmery shade in there, so the traditional formula, and then they have some nice matte shadows as well. So I bought the most basic beige stack that they had. I've really been enjoying Kaj's eyeshadows for just like my everyday makeup looks if I want to do something nice, neutral, not too high maintenance, very easy to use, very just like user friendly and cute. Mostly I was just very excited to test out the matte formula because I'm very picky with my mattes, and I wasn't really sure that Kaja was going to do great matte formula just because I've tried a few different things from Korean Beauty and I really have not found any good eyeshadows from them. Sorry. I just feel like that's not a huge focus in Korean Beauty. It's more on the skin, whereas here we really focus on like colors and eyeshadows and bold pigmented things, whereas they really focus more on dewy, natural, like fresh looking, dull looking skin. Needless to say, I was actually very impressed. They are very good matte colors. Granted, I did try two of the most basic shades from them. So this is the brown trio. They did come out with like a purple one, and I swatched that one in store. The purple was like not that nice, so I'm really not sure how the more colorful trios are. I'm really enjoying this one. So I got the Chocolate Dahlia trio. It's really cute. It's a nice simple eye look if you want to do a very neutral one. Just dust this in the crease, pop this on the lid. If you want a little bit more dimension, again dust this in the crease, pop this like brown shade in the outer corner, this as like a cut crease all over the lid. Beautiful look. I'm definitely taking this everywhere I go for travel, which is like nowhere. I'm boring. NYX is a brand that I don't get very excited for or look for new releases from very often, just because I feel like they are weirdly priced. They're drugstore. They're definitely drugstore in terms of packaging, in terms of like where they are. But they also have been releasing like $30 palettes, which is very weird. So it's been a long time since NYX has really caught my eye. They came out with like a no makeup line, and I was like, oh. Ooh. The new Bear With Me line has quite a few different things in there, and I decided to pick up the Tinted Skin Veil. I've been really loving just kind of embracing my skin, especially because I have kind of clear skin now. Tinted Skin Veil is kind of like a tinted moisturizer. They said this could be a light coverage foundation. I don't think it is. It's very light coverage. I think it's almost kind of like the Glossier skin tint with a tiny bit more coverage in there and a little bit less dewy on the skin. Glossier has almost no coverage. It's basically just like oil, water, and a little tiny whisper of coverage. Glossier skin tint has the amount of coverage as La Croix has like fruit flavor. Nothing. I don't feel like it really covers a ton of imperfections. It just mostly evens out my skin tone. So if I have a little bit of redness on my cheeks, this just does a nice job of kind of blurring that. And it is 0.91 fluid ounces. The standard would be 1 fluid ounce. So you're not getting a ton of product in here, which is annoying. It's fine, and I will continue to use it. I just don't think I would repurchase it. Finally, I really didn't delve into glittery eye toppers when they were kind of a trend, but especially because I've gotten into more like simple eye looks, which is basically just like a matte in the crease and then a very glittery thing all over the lid for a nice like, wow, she didn't really try that hard, but she tried. Ciate London came out with the Marbled Metals eye toppers, and these are so pretty. I included some of these in my 15K giveaway. I wanted to like give these a shout out because I think they're so stunning. I'm wearing one of them on my eyes right now. This is the shade Twisted. It's kind of like a green black duochrome shift, but these are absolutely insane. Like, hold on. They're also a bit more affordable as far as like glittery eye toppers go, and you get a ton of product in here. So these are probably my favorite ones I've tried so far. I tried one of the Natasha ones. I don't like Stila's Magnificent Metals anymore. I would say either go for these or the Kaja Beauty Blender Trios. Finally, I never really talk about hair products, but I found the world's best dry shampoo. I have long searched for a dry shampoo that doesn't irritate my scalp, doesn't make my hair smell like it for the entire day. I just wanted something that was nice and neutral and made my scalp feel non-itchy, absorbed all the greasiness, but didn't make my hair feel like super flat. So I've been testing out the Low and Grip Good to Go dry shampoo. Spray it through out there. I'm on my like 4th day hair right now, and then I just kind of like crimp and like fluff out my hair. It just adds a little bit of volume, little bit of texture. It does smell like caramel and cream, but I don't feel that scent lingering through the day. So something I really hate about dry shampoo is I can just smell it in my hair. This one I can't smell after like 2 minutes of spraying it. So this is great. It's a Swedish brand. There's a pretty short ingredients list, and overall I very much like this. So favorite dry shampoo ever. Just wanted to share it. Something I want to start doing in these videos is just kind of capping it off with my favorite makeup look of the month and my favorite video of the month that I did. So favorite makeup look of the month was this kind of subtle pride look with a tiny bit of rainbow on the lower lash line, but very business on the top. Favorite video was my very personal Chatty Get Ready With Me. It was the scariest video to upload that I've ever done, but just the kindness in the comment section was insane, and it just kind of reminded me how incredibly blessed I am. So yeah, that was my favorite video of the month. I hope you guys enjoyed this new makeup releases, favorites, and fails. Please let me know if you've tried any of these products, or if you have any things you'd like to see me review for next month. I will definitely be doing the ColourPop Yellow palette, so please stop tagging me on Instagram. I've seen it. Make sure you are subscribed down below, and also follow me on Instagram to see makeup looks like this posted. I'm trying. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you get les bonus mimes. Au revoir.
It's just about right. Just about right.
What's just about right?